Hey guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So it's official, we now know the cart that will release with Tour Plan Arcade 4, and that will be this indie sort of dual cart from Kai Magazine Software that has Metal Dragon and Life on Mars. Both are pretty different games. Life on Mars is a sort of Metroidvania style game, which is quite obvious maybe once you see some of the gameplay here, and it is actually very, very good. I think it'll probably give you a good 3 to 4 hours gameplay anyway, but it's pretty cool, and I actually enjoyed it. I will play through both of these games later on in the video and give my honest opinion. Also on the collection will be Metal Dragon, and this is like a Mercs Commando style clone with the obvious Metal Gear vibes going on there as well, which it looks like they've stolen the assets a little bit. But anyway, it is a pretty decent game. I probably prefer Life on Mars, but both games are pretty decent, and I think we're getting decent enough value with having these on a dual cart from Kai Magazine Software. But anyway guys, without further ado, let's have a look at the details and let's play through both of these games and I'll give you my honest opinion. Let's get started. Okay guys, so let's have a look at the details before we actually jump into the game. We've got Metal Dragon and Life on Mars from Kai Magazine Software, who I think they are based in Spain, if my memory serves me correctly. Now, Life on Mars, I'm pretty sure I played through Life on Earth, which was on Antstream, and now I think both of these games are actually on Antstream in some way, shape or form. Perhaps the MSX versions of these sort of titles, and yeah, they are both really, really decent games. I think some people will get more out of one and the other. If you obviously prefer Commando and Mercs, you'll probably prefer Metal Dragon. If you like your Metroidvania stuff, you'll love Life on Mars. I think these games will be very popular, and I know there's been crying out for more of these indie style games on Evercade, and I think they're only a couple of years old if memory serves me correctly, so they are pretty new games, and I believe both are based on the Mega Drive sort of versions of these titles. I think that's my assumption anyway. So in Metal Dragon, the president's daughter has been kidnapped, blah blah blah, and you basically need to rescue her. So it's very heavily based on, it sounds like Metal Gear Solid, no doubt about it. It steals some of the graphics, steals some of the ideas as well, but the actual gameplay isn't like Metal Gear, or at least the original one, that is. It's more like a Mercs Commando style thing, and it's pretty good. I think it's pretty hard, but it is a decent enough game. Personally, I prefer Life on Mars, which is a platformer, but it's like a Metroid Prime or Metroidvania style game. It's pretty obvious when you play that. It looks very similar to like the Metroid games from the SNES way back in the 90s. So you take on the role of space technician Sam. Oh, no. It's so obviously based on Metroid Prime. It's laughable, but anyway, that is what it is, and you basically need to do your thing, lost contact with Earth, and it's up to you to discover what's wrong. Upgrade all your environmental suit throughout, get better sort of weapons, better suit, and obviously find out the truth before it's too late. But anyway guys, that's the games. Pretty decent games, I think. Without further ado, let's get stuck in, let's play the games, and I'll give you my honest opinion of what they are actually like in action. So I thought I would jump in at this particular moment just because I'm extremely childish and immature, and I noticed that the character was named Flaccid Snake, and that obviously made me snigger like a 5-year-old. And then it made me start to worry a little bit that the character might not be up for the job. Yeah, the sexual innuendos do continue further throughout the text, so be warned, if you've got some sensitive nature, you may want to jump through some of the text and sort of sections between the actual gameplay. So you have been warned. There's a few F-bombs get dropped. It certainly will be interesting to see if Blaze do include some of that in the final game. I really don't see why not. I mean, it is obviously rated. I think it's a 16 it's rated, so I'm pretty sure that will be fine. The actual gameplay, there's nothing to it. It's just some swear words. I'm pretty sure there's some swear words in other games on Evercade, probably like Questarist is the one that jumps to mind. But anyway, the game is quite clearly ripping off Metal Gear Solid, which you can clearly see from the graphics and the style and the character names. The actual gameplay itself is probably more like Commando meets Mercs, that type of thing. And it's not bad. I'll sort of explain more as we get into the actual gameplay of some of the things that I really didn't enjoy that much and things that maybe just stuck out as maybe not being that great. Okay, so the game itself is kind of fun to play, I guess, and it's not as difficult as games like Commando. Obviously in Commando it was like one hit kill and you're dead. In this game you can get hit multiple times and you maybe just fall down and you're absolutely fine, you'll get back up again, but you obviously have that health bar. As soon as that health bar is gone, it is game over, but you do get the option to retry and start again. I'm not entirely sure if you pick up from where you left off or you get back to some sort of checkpoints. I know when you're on the boss you get to retry that boss again, you don't get thrown back to the start of the game. But I found it a little bit quirky. A lot of the enemies you can probably run past where they just don't seem to see you or just ignore you, and you can run in diagonal sometimes and almost avoid everything. And when I got to the sort of second stage, it becomes a bit more obvious you could probably avoid quite a lot of it and not even try to take some of the characters out, which is probably not that great. So quite clearly this is pretty much Mercs meets Commando meets Metal Gear Solid, but one of the most disappointing facts for me is the fact that I could run along the bottom of this screen and avoid all the enemies and enemy fire and go by quite easy was probably a little bit alarming. So there's a few things here and there that probably need a little bit more polish, and the fact that the cars just whiz on past, don't even stop to try and obviously take you out, considering you are probably the main enemy. The cars just whiz on past, don't care, they're away to do something, they're away to pick up a McDonald's or something, who knows, but it just doesn't make any sense. So there's definitely some flaws within the game. I liked it to a point. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the other game in the cart, Life on Mars. It probably reminds me a little bit like Good Boy Galaxy and Witch and Whiz, where one game was excellent, the other was good, but it probably wasn't as highly polished or maybe even as deserving to be on the cart as that. But anyway, as a sort of 2-pack, it makes a lot of sense. It's a nice sort of change from the Metroid sort of Prime style game that Life on Mars is, but don't expect the world, and you probably won't be too disappointed. I just thought, you can clearly see, I thought it was just a little bit flawed here and there. but still fun enough for a quick blast.
Grenade.
Okay, there's no doubt for me that this is definitely the better game of the two on the collection, and yeah, quite clearly it is based on the Super Metroid games from the SNES era. It is very accomplished though, it is a very decent clone, and the fact that the main character's called Sam and not Samus is pretty obvious where they're aiming at. But at least they've done a lot of things right. The only thing I didn't like was the fact obviously you could shoot diagonally up, each corner, but you can't shoot down the way you can't shoot diagonally down either, and sometimes that becomes a little bit frustrating when you're trying to take out enemies that are just slightly below you when you're shooting from sort of higher platforms, so that does get a little bit frustrating. But other than that, I actually quite enjoyed the experience. It's not as difficult as I first thought. Most of the enemies do tend to drop like shields, so everything they drop just try and pick up and you will continually have a full sort of shield to help. But it does seem quite tricky, but I think as long as you keep that in mind, take your time and pick up the constant shields, you should be absolutely fine. You've got the energy bar obviously as well, and you can get lots of pick 'em ups throughout the game. You'll get lots of enhancements to your guns, you'll get grenades, all that type of thing, flamethrowers to make progress. Obviously you get to certain sections of the game, you can't make progress till you maybe go with the grenades. So it is very much Super Metroid Prime style-esque sort of thing. And I actually really enjoyed it. Lots of different enemies, lots of different things going on. I think, if I recall, I think it takes about 3 to 4 hours to probably complete. So it's not the longest game in the world, but I guess in Evercade game terms, that's pretty decent, I guess, for the money. And actually, like I said, I really enjoyed it. You can replenish your health at these sort of monitors here, and also save in-game. But I guess with Evercade you can use the in-game save states as well, so I'm pretty sure you will be using that a lot more than the in-game saves. But if you want to play traditional style, you can choose to do that. But yeah, I have to say, very accomplished game. I know this will probably be extremely exciting for a lot of people to play this, because we don't really have that many style of games like this on Evercade, and I doubt very much we'll ever get Super Metroid, so this is going to be the next best thing. It is very decent, and I think a lot of people will probably buy an Evercade, maybe even just to play this game, although you can buy it on Steam or some other platforms. But the fact you're getting 2 games for the cart, it makes for a pretty worthwhile purchase, I think, and it's decent enough. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that it does launch December. Apparently on Amazon it says December 12th, but Blaze themselves don't actually have a concrete date in December. On their website it just says in December, so fingers crossed it does happen. I'm not sure why they wouldn't put a concrete date in. It could be perhaps they're going to pull it forward like they did last year with some of the carts. They pulled it forward and they actually released in November, but maybe they'll even do the opposite and push out to January. We just don't know. But anyway, fingers crossed it does happen, and we can see all these carts getting released for Christmas time, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Detected. Remove.
Okay guys, so that's a look at this new dual cart due for release in December. I think Metal Dragon's alright, it's okay, it's not as good as Life on Mars, definitely the better game of the two. But interesting why they didn't put Life on Earth on this as well, which I think is either the prequel or the sequel to this game. Maybe that'll appear sometime down the line, but it would have been nice to add that as a third game to add even more value. But anyway, it is what it is. Thanks for watching, bye for now.